This piece is entitled Hello. I would like to connect the dots that shape your outline. The framework got me moving up and down the pond. Michelangelo, baby, you're my sky. Airbrushing your murals, details define. Your ocean, mysterious wonder, baffled by a train of thought, mind on an axle, going on like scandals, usual propaganda. No bars without a handle, deciphering your mantra. I mean, I want to talk to you, but the words fall short like Shaq's free throws. Behold, a lady, classy as Ivy League, beauty so marvelous, it freezes the room as she breathes. Damn, sister hotter than the Sahara. When she shot you down, you remember the word bazooka. So it's best you start correcting next time you trying to holler. Her existence spelled woman, nothing short from the glory. I could go on and on, my tongue spitting her story. If you want her digits, don't even worry. It'll take more than love letters and roses for you to try. I really want to be with you. You the apple of my eye. She be looking at me like you are the weakest link. Goodbye. That's when jaws turn yo-yos, heads bouncing like six foes. Nothing left but to make your outro. She laughs. Don't forget your ego. Quite often, I vision as I pound the pavement. The women who say no are labeled fickle. Fellas, have you ever sat back, relax, and ponder before licking your honor? Has she heard it all? The romantic calls, the vindictive tongues that sell dreams to derivatives from Wall Street to Capitol Hill for one night in town, break out or be clown. Damn, many days she frown. Heartaches linger on like first kisses. Ladies realize that life is half full, so yeah, they can't see past the bowl. Remember, act like a woman, think like a man. Bonita Applebaum flips tables like waitresses on double shifts. The ball's in her park, never you forget. Her pen writes you off like Nike or a bad check. So, miss, indulge me with your presence. Humor me for a moment, cause I like to fall like shooting stars chasing the Milky Way. Picture tree limbs, my heart sways from continent to continent, from Belize to Bombay. You're the melody to life, for that song keeps on playing. Let me be your key and map my way into your destiny. I do not herd goats, but I do want you close to me. Let me drown in your love-lasting tsunami. Look, I don't palm the world for you to be fancy. Secrets lurk within, call me Tom Clancy. He reveals by fate, different days, just the right date. Here's my name, no need for a number. You be the snow I see this summer.
And there you have the words of K.O. the Assassin, of course, spoken word artist there,
Deep.
doing a piece he wrote 5 years ago called Hello. There you go. All right. Thank you very much, K.O. All right. So just a little bit of everything in terms of expression this morning. And we had our first competition for today. We have just a few more to go. And it is a point system. We have some prizes that all of you will be taking home, but some of them will be reserved for the person who gets, or the team who has the most points at the end of our games today, right? So continuing with our conversation, one of the things we wanted to talk about was how you set goals in a relationship, right? So we're trying to tap into the lovers at home, advice, things you've learned along the way, and tell us a bit about how you make decisions as a couple and what your advice would be to those couples who are perhaps struggling with it a bit.
I have my own goals. You guys know me by now, right? I have my own personal goals, and he has his own personal goals. And then as a family, we have our family goals. So again, we're going back to not losing ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, we have.
Okay, so let me give a practical example. We know that finances usually take a toll on marriages, period. People spend differently, people save differently, and there are many things that you want to accomplish as a couple. It could be buying a new car for the family or for yourself. It could be getting a new home. It could be taking a vacation that you've all dreamed of, whatever it is. And how do you find that compromise? How do you make sure that your way and their way somehow finds a common way of getting there?
I think, and this may be what I would say too regarding any decision that there might be a difference of views, and maybe it's the mediator aspect of me, but I find the years have taught me and maybe us that you fight fairly and you communicate clearly. Many times the challenges that we'll find in terms of setting goals, or so if we approach it with what I want and what you want, if we go back to what the things that we can agree on, if we can agree that we have a problem getting around and we can agree that we need to have then we can figure out whether it's a motorcycle, whether it's a car, and then if we can determine that together, so if we can build on the things we can agree on and then figure out the parts that are giving us problems. So the gentleman may want a two-seater sports car, and the lady may think, wow, this minivan is perfect. Don't fight about whether you want a minivan and I want a car. What we should do is go back to what do we need it for, and if we can agree on that, then those things will kind of make the decision. I think that one of the challenges with making decisions is that if we look at it from an I perspective, and many times we don't articulate what we want, and it's hard for our spouse to be able, because if we move from the point that we love each other, then we will care about what is important and what are needs. And so instead of, if we approach it from, many times we don't want to say why I, because we feel vulnerable indicating what is my need as opposed to what I want and my position, and that's the part of things that causes breakdown. And I think if you approach any decision like that, being honest about what your needs are and what then your spouse will be happy to make sure that the decision is one that works, right?
Is that we figure out what is most important, and then we compromise on what we can put aside to vanity.
Because now we have kids, so we have school.
We make decisions on the functions. I'm a dreamer. I like to go this high, and she has to bring me down and say, "Do you really need that? Do you really need that size car? Do you really need this, that?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay. I didn't think about that." And then we're just compromising along the way. But it's usually by, do we really need it? Will it function this purpose? And that's how we make the decisions together.
One of the things that we look at, before we even have kids, we do family planning financially. You know, we would create a budget. My wife have this budget with the envelope budget.
Wow, you guys need to write a book.
You're gonna walk away as the most structured woman we've ever met, right?
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
And so every we try to give account of every money that got spent. Because, for example, we did a course with this guy Dave Ramsey. You know, and he tells you exactly, because I mean, it is easy for you to spend. I mean, you get a paycheck, and by the time you know it, it's finished. And so we do. We normally do like an envelope financial budget, where we have on each envelope the different, you know, section, you know, for what, for this, for, you know, and that's how we do it. So in other words, if I need a car and I don't see an envelope that says car, then that's not in the budget.
Minister of Finance.
I love that you fit in the visuals to this, right?
So at the end of the day, we look at what's priority. I wanted a car, and my wife told me, said, but you know, being that we have two kids, a minivan would be better. And I think about it and said, you know what? Because we have kids, you got to take a lot of stuff. And so we look at everything before you actually spend money, before you actually do something. You got to look at and see how it's going to benefit the family. You know?
So there's an envelope for spontaneity. Like, I'm just going to take her to a nice restaurant. There's an envelope for that too?
Yeah. Realistic. You can't tighten yourself so much that you even have a little shilling to buy.
Or you don't have anything to enjoy.
I have my money.
Yeah.
That's how it works. You know?
And then there's the envelopes.
Not to be mistaken with the red envelope that people would want on Friday, right? But I think that's an important point that you're bringing up, because it's about how to keep the relationship alive. And we're living in a time that relationships are weird. You know, there are, and for the younger people, it's so hard. It is. There's ghosting, you know, where I just never answer you because that's how I show I like you. There are relationships without definitions. There's a lot of lingering questions, and people, I'm sorry if you're in the younger generation and this is what you have to deal with, But so many people seem to be anti-love, and we're going to meet a lot of them today. You know, today they'll be the real people in black. You know, wearing black in opposition of love, and marriage doesn't work, and you know, men are going to cheat, and women are controlling, and all these hasty generalizations. For you, what would you say? What do you say to people like that when you encounter what do we call them? The anti-love people. Anti-marriage, I'm a realist. Anti-marriage, anti-relationships. What's different for you?
I just usually like to call it childish thinking. If you can't be an adult about it, then don't do it. Right? There's no reason to say, oh, he does this, he does that. Why should I deprive? Why should I control? Why should I? It's childish because you're insecure about it. But if you trust and you know your partner and the reason you got married or engaged to that person or you're dating that person because you know what you want, and you've of course had a history with others that leads you to that point that say, okay, I don't want this, I want this now.
Correct.
And I'm serious about it and I'm taking that serious step in. Yeah, so that's what I think.
Well, one of the things that I would say is that I've learned over the years that love is being receptive and being willing to open up and take down barriers. I mean, many years ago, I was the anti-love person. But, and I mean, honestly, when I went to school, I would have never imagined that I would not marry somebody from Belize. I mean, I'm very traditional. So I never knew that. But by opening yourself up to a new opportunity, to something different, you benefit from your own growth. I mean, I'm sure that many years ago you never imagined that you would marry somebody from Taiwan. So that's a unique thing. And I would say that to those people, that one of the reasons why I think maybe you would be stunted is because you close yourself off from something, and you should never do it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be anti-love. Maybe that's correct for you. Or I'm not, because people think that, okay, then married life is the perfect life. I kind of think that. But married life may not be it for everybody. What I'm saying though is that never close yourself off from an opportunity. Maybe being single is it for you. Maybe you just love your dog or you're into whatever. But I'm saying that opportunities come in life because you're open and you're receptive. And if you compromise and you live a life of expectancy and think that you will receive things, then you change and you go over time.
One word: fear. Life is about taking risks and chances. Don't let the fear define you. Put the camera there. Look at the people right now. We might be young, but we took a chance. Everybody here took a chance. Mayor Rattle took a chance. We took a chance. He took a chance. He went to Taiwan last 1 year. 7 years on your last year, you met her and you proposed. That was a big risk. You guys took a chance. God help you guys. So I would say that, like you said, right now, single may be it for you, but if you don't put yourself out there and try to experience it and understand it, you cannot judge if you haven't experienced it. Exactly. So just take a chance. Love won't hurt you. Love shouldn't hurt.
I'll sting you a bit.
It gives sweet bites. Like that, sweet bites.
I remember I was one of those no fall in love, because when you notice the word fall in love, if you fall, you get hurt, right? But here is the thing. Years later, I can say, I won't say it won't hurt you, but you will heal. And when you heal, it will be better. And so, I agree with that. Be receptive, as Daryl said. Take a chance. There's no promises. Everyone here has had their moments, their scars, their wounds, and it heals, and it's life.
And it's a lesson. I always say all those lessons help to form what you know you want and need in your life. In every aspect, love and everything else.
I like to think of it as an injection, right? You see it coming, you fear it, it hurts you, but it gives you good stuff.
So you literally got hit by Cupid then. That's what you're saying, right? So let me just throw out some random questions here. Love at first sight, real or not real?
At times. It depends the situation.
It was not for us. It was over friendship, growth, and getting to know each other.
Women are the only romantic ones.
No.
So the men are more romantic in these relationships. Yeah, tell me.
Us, he's more romantic because I'm thinking more
Men,
like
yes.
erotic
Yeah.
side.
So when he does something really cheesy, what do you do? Do you make fun of him? Do you say, "Oh, that's sweet"? Do you say, "Why you waste that money?" Or "What are we doing here?"
I will listen to him first.
Okay.
What he do least.
Okay.
I say, "Oh, cause I want to show I love you." Something. Oh, okay.
What's the most romantic thing your partner has done for you? Felt like fairy tale moment.
For me, was when I didn't have her any money and it was her birthday, and she told me, "Don't worry, we could just go to the park, enjoy the scenery." I was like, "Oh."
Uh-huh.
There's so many. The problem
Choose
with the
one.
year,
Which one jumps out? Which one do you brag to your friends about? Uh-huh.
there's so many. I'll just pick one. I think just his the conscientious way he reminds me that he loves me, and sometimes it's when it's the most difficult. You could be in the midst of a challenge, and it's not that it's an argument or anything, but like breakfast in bed, and I'm so tired, and he's tired, and I know he's tired, and then I don't see him, and then I look, and he knows I like sugarcane, so he'll go to the market, get the sugarcane on a Saturday morning, and then he comes with sugarcane and corn lab and fruits, and I know he just went to bed like after 2-3, to get up and get that done, and it's just the things that you do when you don't have to, and that means more to me than a gift on a birthday or a special occasion. Things that tells me he's thinking about me when I least expect it.
My wife, she always comes up with these unexpected, things at different time. And one of them that stood out for me was when we had our first son. It was my birthday, right? And I remember she said, "Oh, I'm going to take you out, to eat." And she knows that my favorite place in the States is Popeye's Chicken. Right? And so I remember she said, "Let's go." And we went to Popeye's Chicken, and when we got the Popeye's Chicken, I saw her pull out a brown envelope. I'm like, okay, this envelope can only hold pretty much paper because it's kind of flat.
Mm-hmm.
And when she said, "Open it," when I opened the envelope, I saw, she showed me this, the ultrasound, I didn't know that she was, that she was pregnant or anything. And now she said, "Here's your birthday gift." And when I opened the brown envelope, I saw the ultrasound, and that was our first one. It said, "It's a boy." And, I got kind of emotional because I'm like, this is not just a regular gift, and this wasn't just a regular takeout, and so I was, that was something that kind of stood out for me.
Aww.
One of the, nice things that she has done.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, we've been on one-on-one romantic dates and stuff. I find it romantic when I love pasta when he orders it for me, and he's like, "Baby, I got you. Don't worry about it." I find that really romantic, and then we're sitting across from each other, and I like look, man, he deep down in the eyes because he said about the butterflies, and I have moths, they're really big, and like me just looking at him and just be like, "Wow, we had a really nice spot. You're ordering for me," and I'd be like, "Can this get any better?" Then the food comes, like, yes, and he makes me eat out of his plate, and he doesn't mind.
This guy's good.
Uh-huh.
I want to go back a little. I don't care what you guys say about compromise and, you come to all of these things. At the end of the day, somebody wears the pants. Because if you have a decision to make and the argument for both of the things are equal, you're going to decide on one side. Who wears the pants in your relationship?
I would respond differently.
You have to.
Yeah. I have to. Mama, I have to live. Yeah. But I think it goes back to, and I mean, Marlene was asking about goals. It goes back to something that Chantel talks about. When you are discriminating, and when you go through a process to select the person that you want to marry, you choose somebody who has that fundamental core. So actually, Julianne and I making decisions is not hard, because talking about where we go for dinner and so forth, those aren't really important choices. What we spend on and so forth, that's not really important. But for major decisions in life, because we have the same outlook, because both of us were discriminating in relation to who we choose to marry, we both of us knew we wanted to have kids. Both of us are hardworking. Both of us believe in God. Both of us have certain core values, respect and so forth. So when we talk about certain things, it's not really that we disagree on fundamental things. We actually agree on fundamental things, and agreeing on the minor things isn't really like a big deal. And I would say, I mean, in sometimes in a marriage, I would say at points for a few years, when I was in Jamaica, Julianne used to work, and I didn't have a driver's license. I couldn't do a lot of things because I was a student. At that time, she led the relationship. She paid the bills. I was kind of happy and so forth. So that, I mean, when we moved to Belize, she was new here. So what I would say is, at times, you kind of shift. You kind of have sometimes the wife lead, sometimes the husband lead, and you don't, like that's kind of something you never ask yourself, like, who's winning in the marriage or who's like that. You just work together.
I think it's important to in that in different things there may be different times when I wouldn't want to say wear the pants, but you yield. You yield, for example, to your wife in matters concerning the children, because you feel that the mother may understand and have a bond in terms of what, and you yield maybe to the husband in dealing with different decision. For some people, the woman maintains the purse strings and deals with the finances, and that's fine. Not because you're a man. I have a friend who his wife takes care of all the finances. If he wants money to spend, he goes to her. But it's even regardless of who makes the money.
Yeah.
And I think that is the important thing, that you understand. I believe in and it's challenging because with professional women and so on, this thing about submission in love and leadership, it's not necessarily a forceful thing. It's something where you both submit to a certain authority in your home, in your marriage, and you yield to each other in matters. So if it matters to my husband where we vacation, okay, it's not so important to me, or family is important, so these things will take precedent, and you yield. It's not a power struggle. That is what I would say.
I like the point that you said, you yield. When it comes to the kids, my wife is the one who, I don't try to go above her, because she has that mother instinct, and so as a father, I might deal with stuff different.
Yeah.
And so I kind of ask her certain things when it comes to the kids, and I let her. But when it comes to certain matters in the house and thing, we discuss it, and she shares her views, I share my view, and then we settle on the best one. And there are times when I try to overpower. I said, I don't think it's going to make any sense.
You're going to lose.
And she, and then she comes in with a strong point, like, you know what? And, it makes a lot of sense. And there are times I would go against her. And I still have to come right back and say, you know what you were correct. Yeah, you were correct. And so it's the way I see it, it's not who wears the pants, but we work with the better decision, the one that would be better for the entire family.
Boy, these are scripted answers over here.
It's true, because certain situation dictates who takes the lead on it.
Yeah.
It's not all
It's
everything.
knowing each
that
other's
one
strengths,
person
I
does.
guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to get moving into a game again, right? And now we have the newlyweds and the engaged couple heading on over to the other side, so you guys can go over there while we explain the game. It is gestures, right?
Wow.
So the men have a list of words that they have to act out and have their partner guess, right? So you don't need your microphone, guys. It goes to the ladies, right? And we'll choose, okay, you guys are volunteering to go first. Over there. Yeah. And Kevin will go over and he's going to
Referee?
be the referee in this one.
Yeah.
So he can't use any words, any sounds. He can only act it out and she has to guess. And so we're starting off with Chimera and Michael. How much time do we have on the clock again? It's 1 minute?
1 minute.
1 minute per word? 1 minute for the full list. Wow.
Full list, wow.
Try and then move on.
So are we ready?
Quickly.
So 3, 2, 1, go.
Basketball.
Oh.
Cricket. Sweep. Were you a sweeper? Whistle.
That's 2.
Guitar.
3,
Fly. Bird. Plane.
4.
Drink. Shot. Whiskey. Pour water.
Hey.
Wine.
Oh.
When next?
Okay, you have to act it.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Scoop. Handle coffee. Cappuccino.
10 seconds.
Mixing.
5,
Keys. Open a lock.
2, 1. That's time.
We started so
So,
strong.
so that was 4?
How many were?
That was
How many did you guess?
Guitar, whistle, airplane.
that was 4.
Yeah.
5.
It was 5.
5.
All right.
5.
Teapot.
Teapot.
So Salim and Angela, 5 to tie.
All right.
6 to win.
Good. That's good. So the magic number is 6. Come on. Let me get out of the way of this love couple.
Oh, it's 4. I'm sorry. The
4?
producers have just come back to us.
All
It's
right.
4.
The magic number is 5. So you have the time up? Are you nervous yet? We're coming. Ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
Ghost.
Wow, good.
Sleeping. Sleep. Lie down.
You're close.
Gift. Flower. Jacket.
That's 2.
Dog. Hat. Eagle. Bird. Balloon. Circle. Chicken. Chicken. Swimming.
All right, last.
5
Duck.
seconds. 3, 2, 1. That's it. Really close.
And
So
the
how
total
how many
time
we had?
was
They had 7.
7.
Wow.
All right.
Congratulations. All right.
Okay, so there we had another round, and the final round is going to decide the winner of our games today. But we got to go ahead and take a break, and we'll get ready for a final game, so stay tuned.
Wow.